guys to my YouTube channel. In this lab, we are going to configure VTP in Cisco switches. Basically, VTP, VLAN trunking protocol, reduces administration in a switched network. When you configure a new VLAN on one VTP server, the VLAN is distributed through all the switches in the same domain. This reduces the need to configure the same VLAN everywhere, right? So basically BTP is a Cisco proprietary protocol that is available on most of the Cisco Catalyst series product. So before starting the BTP, I just want to mention three modes of the BTP: server, client, and transparent. Basically in server mode, in the BTP server mode, you can create, modify, and delete VLAN and specify other configuration parameters such as BTP version and BTP pruning and other BTP domain, right? So BTP server is a default mode. Now the second one is a client. BTP client behaves the same way as a BTP server, but you cannot create, change, or delete VLAN on BTP client mode. Now the third one is a transparent mode. Basically in BTP, transparent switches does not participate in BTP. A BTP transparent switches does not advertise in VLAN configuration and does not synchronize its VLAN configuration based on the received advertisement. But transparent switches do forward BTP advertisement that they receive out their trunk port in a BTP version 2, right? So now here in our protocol, topology, we have a few switches, Cisco switches. One is a core switch and three are the access switches. So we are going to configure all those VLAN in the core switch, and we will see whether all those VLAN are replicated to the access switch automatically or not by using BTP protocol. We are not going to create any VLAN on the access switches. Our result will be getting all those VLAN in all those access switches. So access switch 1 will be acting, core switch 1 will be acting as a server mode, and access switch 1 will be acting as a client, and access switch 2 will be acting as a transparent, and access switch 3 will be acting as a client. So access switch 1 will get all those VLAN from the core switch directly, and the switch 2 will be acting as a transparent, and it will not take all those VLAN. However, it will forward all those VLAN configuration to the access switch 3. So let's get started. Let's start configuring the core switch first. As you can see, it is a default. There is no VLAN here configure. So let's configure the VLAN first. Let's give a host core switch. Now let's create a VLAN 10, name mgmt, VLAN 11, name data, VLAN 12, name voice, right? So now let's see. So VLAN, now you can see three VLANs are created here. So now let's open all those switches, switch 1, switch 2, and switch 3. Let's see this one. So VLAN, okay. Now so BTP status. Now here you can see right now the default version is 1. We are going to change to BTP version 2, and you can see BTP mode is a server mode, right? Let me enlarge this one. Okay, so now we are going to configure this core switch as a BTP server mode, that is a default one, and version we are going to change to version 2, and we are going to set a BTP password as well. So now before that, let me check in the other switch. This is a switch 1, so host name. Now so VLAN, see there is no any VLAN configured. Now so BTP status, as you can see it is configured as a default. So what we are going to do, host name 02 2 host name access 03. That's it. So let's go ahead and let's configure the VLAN here. Oh, sorry, we have already created the VLAN. Done. So as you can see, there's no VLAN on other switches, right? So now let's configure VTP here. Configure T. VTP version 2. VTP password Cisco. VTP domain, you can give any domain. VTP mode server, right? Done. Similarly, in the switch, as you can see, all are configured as this one. So let's configure T. VTP version 2. VTP password Cisco. VTP domain Cisco, and VTP mode client, right? Sorry, client. Now here you'll see VTP status. You see Cisco VTP domain is Cisco, VTP version is 2, and mode is client. Now let's go ahead and access switch 2. Now here we will configure VTP version 2, VTP password Cisco, and VTP domain Cisco, and VTP mode transparent, right? Because access switch 2 will not participate in VTP, however it will replicate all those VTP database to the access switch 3. So now let's go ahead here in access switch 3. Now configure T. VTP version 2, VTP password Cisco, VTP domain Cisco, and VTP mode client, right? Now let's see whether all those VLAN has been replicated or not. So VLAN, still it is not done, right? So VLAN, because we need to configure the trunk between all those switches. So let's do that one. So CDP neighbor. So you see there is no VLAN. So VLANs are not replicated, right? So VLAN, right, and access switch 3. So VLAN, just verifying one more time. No, however in core switch we have a VLAN. So now let's do configuration of a trunk. So CDP neighbor, I can see I have two switches on the interface 0/0 and 0/0. What I'm going to do, interface range for Ethernet 0/021, switchboard encapsulation trunk encapsulation .ok, switchboard mode trunk, right? That's it. Now one more thing, what I will do, interface VLAN 1, default VLAN 1, I will assign IP address to check who is which IP address is replicated BTP database. So let me give a default any 10.10.10.1 255.255.255.0, right? So IP interface brief, so IP interface brief, config T interface VLAN 1, no shutdown, right? So right, now let's check this one now. So BTP status, still it is not, right? VLAN, so VLAN. So what we have to do, configure tree interface Ethernet 0/0 switchboard encapsulation stock encapsulation dot switchboard mode trunk, right? That's it. No, so VLAN 1, no shutdown, right? Because through VLAN 1 they will communicate with each other. Here we can see the VLAN has been replicated. Now it has a VLAN 8. So VLAN, see all those VLAN has been replicated automatically. I have not configured any VLAN on switch access switch 1. Similarly, let's check in access switch 2. So VLAN, it is not replicated, right? And it should not replicate because it is in a transparent mode. Before that, let me configure the interface Ethernet 0/0. Okay, before that, so BTP status, let's verify whether it is transparent mode. Yes. And configure T interface Ethernet 0/0 switch port trunk encapsulation dot okay switch port mode trunk, and interface VLAN 1 no shutdown, right? Okay, interface VLAN 1 no shutdown. Now status, you can see because it will take it will since it is in a transparent mode, it will participate it will not participate in BTP. However, it will replicate the VLAN information, right? So VLAN, it has not taken any VLAN. That's it. Now let's configure the another interface Ethernet 0/1 that is connected to the access switch 3. So switch port trunk encapsulation dot trunk, right? Switch port mode trunk. That's it. So IP interface brief, you can see right. Now let's go to the course access switch 3 and let's see BTP status. So BTP status, you can see I have only 5 VLAN, so it is still not replicated. So it is in client mode. What I'm going to do, we have to configure the trunk port, right? So now configure T interface Ethernet 0/0 switch port trunk encapsulation dot open switch port mode trunk, right? Similarly, interface VLAN 1 no shutdown. This is only to communicate. That's it. Right now, so BTP status, still it is not taken. We'll wait for some time. (0/0) it is a trunk only. It's a verify, so running interface Ethernet 0/1 it's trunk only. So now verify this core switch Ethernet 0/1 this Ethernet 0/1 trunk only, correct. Now so this brief VLAN is up, so this brief VLAN is up now. So BTP status still not taken. Let's check this one. Status just taken the IP. Last modify is showing as a standard because I have not given the IP here. So VLAN okay guys, now you can see I have restarted the switch. Now you can see it has replicated all those VLAN. Since I have, you can see it has taken all those VLAN automatically, right? I have not configured this one. Why? Since it is a BTP, so BTP status, since it is a client mode, it will we cannot create, for example, let's say config T VLAN 99. What is saying? BTP VLAN configuration not allowed in a client mode. That's why whatever I'm going to create on the core switch, it will be replicated automatically to all those client mode switches, right? However, in the switch, this switch it is showing as a transparent, so BTP status, so it will not replicate, but however it will forward all those BTP information to the uplink ports. That's it. If you like this video, please like and subscribe my channel. If you have any doubt, please write in your comment. Thank you very much.